Great to have you with us. Now, workers of the Volta River Authority are warning government the country risks losing over $400 million if it goes on with a revised Ameri deal. Union Chairman Kaba Adatu told Joy News government lied when it said the deal is beneficial to the country. He also says VRA has incurred a debt of 750 million cedis for Ghana Gas just providing its services to Ameri. He explained extending the deal to 15 years will worsen the burden of the Volta River Authority.
Apart from being the off-taker, VRA is solely responsible for providing any other item that Ameri needs to generate, including the buying of gas. And if you follow the story from day one, as at the end of December 2017, VRA owes Ghana Gas $750 million. So that is the pressure that it brings to VRA. Quite apart from that, we should also remember that these machines, they are just like the human being. You start in your youthfulness with strength. As you grow, you fade. Machines also have their lifespan. After 5 years, these machines are still very strong, that Ghanaians will benefit from. After 15 years, your guess can be as good as mine that they will be more or less scrap. So where have we benefited? In regards to the so-called 405 million that we stand to gain as per misleading by the minister, that is erroneous. Ghana rather stands to lose $472 million. And as we promised you, we are going to give all the necessary computations, and we are going to challenge him that he doesn't know his figures. We are there, and we are going to tell him the right figures. So Ghana stands to lose $472 million rather than gain 4 or 5. On the contrary.
Others have said that what if Miscellaneous comes on board and do a better job than we probably are thinking right now? Because, I mean, they probably could give us value for our money.
Can I tell you one thing? Miscellaneous is not any new company. Miscellaneous is the owner of Metka. So it is the question of changing the button from the left of the same person to the right. So Miscellaneous, if in the past they did well, then well, your guess can be good. But if they didn't perform, then your guess is equally as good that they are going to even get worse than get better, because I told you the machines will be fading in terms of strength. The output capacity is 250 megawatts. Guaranteed capacity is 230, meaning that as time goes, the guaranteed will keep on dwindling for the West. So it doesn't matter who comes around. Once on the machines get weaker by the day, the output will also drop. So I don't think anybody can do any magic. So that is erroneous.
Now, officials at Ofori-Penning, the palace of Ochihene Osajifo Amotia Ofori-Penning in Entebbe, have dismissed reports suggesting 500 houses are to be demolished to make way for the expansion of the palace. Some affected persons who have been directed to leave the premises to enable the expansion project get underway say they have nowhere to go. Daniel Oforiata, who speaks for Ochihene, tells Joy News most of the affected are elderly people. He joins us on the phone with more. Ms. Oforiata, thanks for your time. Has Ofori-Penning told you about alternative arrangements made for the people?
Hello?
Right, Ms. Oforiata, the question is, does Ofori-Penning have any alternative plans for the people?
But, sir, first of all, I don't know where the story is coming from, or it's factual basis. You know, we have not any decree, demolishing 500 houses in Entebbe. In fact, the housing stock, the whole of the housing stock in Entebbe is about 2,000. If you are destroying or demolishing 500 houses for palaces expansion, I mean, how many people are you going to make homeless in Entebbe? You know, we don't know what the factual basis of this story. I think that this story is coming from a mind that seeks to create disaffection for the Ofori-Penning too. You know, I think the forces behind this story are the same forces who sought to create confusion between Ochima and Asantuma. Today they can bow their heads in shame because there's no factual basis for this rumor going on. I do not know where the author of this story is getting his facts from. The fact of the matter is that there are about 10 houses common wall with the Ofori fee. These houses were constructed by previous Otsenhene, now servants of the palace. So as far as we are concerned, these houses are part of the palace. These houses have been run down over the years because there are squatters who are living in these houses, and there is no maintenance culture. These houses have all been painted. These houses are, seriously, if you look at the situation where the Ofori fee is actually situated and the surrounding houses, these 10 houses I'm talking about, the Ofori fee looks like a tower in the slum. So you're saying that to inform these squatters and these people whose ancestors came to serve in the palace that we are making alternative arrangements for them. We intend to get them some accommodation. Those who want to go and rent houses or build houses, we intend to provide them with free land. We wrote letters to them as far back as 2014, inviting them to come and meet the Entebbe Executive Council. They met the Entebbe Executive Council. They had with our proposal to relocate them. Then suddenly we hear in the media that Otsenhene intends to demolish 500 houses. We don't know where these stories come from.
How many people are being relocated, Mr. Ofori-Atta?
Look, the number that we have so far is about 20 people who live in about 10 houses, which shares common wall with the palace. You see, if you've been to Entebbe, where the palace is located, you cannot make any room for any further expansion because the palace is surrounded by streets. You understand? So I don't know how anybody is...
So the palace is not being expanded?
No, the palace is not being expanded. We don't know where this story is coming from.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ofori-Atta, for joining us with those words. Our man in the Eastern Region, Kofi Siao, is following the story and joins us via phone. Kofi, what are you picking from the ground regards the concerns that the people are putting across?
Well, Daddy, when you come here, as I speak, the design of the place is such that there are streets surrounding the whole of the palace. To the left, there is a street there. To the right, behind, there is a street there. And just across that street is the Entebbe market. And when you come to the front of the palace, just across the street too, there is the Deba ground. So when you come here and you would want to find out what is happening in terms of the demolition exercise that has been told in the media, you find it a little bit strange because there isn't houses that I can say are very close to the palace. The ones that are close to the palace are on the left side of the palace. And these houses, if I may count, may not reach even 50 of them. So it's something that it beats the mind of myself and people who also reside here.
Okay.
I haven't been able to get in touch with those who are making those allegations because I went to those houses and none of them were willing to speak to me.
Thank you very much, Kofi Siao, for that report. Let's move from there. President Akufo-Addo has revealed that the double-track system set to begin in September this year under the free SHS program will only be implemented in selected schools. In other words, not all schools in the country who will be rolled onto this program this year. President Akufo-Addo made the revelation when he graced the Asafo Tufiam Festival, celebrated by the people of Ada in the Greater Accra region.
Mobilizing our country's resources can be significantly enhanced when we have an educated workforce. You'll recollect that in September last year, I launched the free senior high school policy, which provided 90,000 more children with the opportunity to gain access to senior high school education in 2017. This year, 180,000 more children, representing a 31% increase, will be admitted into our senior high schools. First of all, going to recruit over 8,000 more teachers in 2018 than we did in 2017. Secondly, we're going to employ a double-track school calendar system for the new SHS entrants. Let me make it clear that this double-track calendar system is not going to be applied to all senior high schools, but only to those whose current capacity will be exceeded by the numbers of admitted students. This system will not destroy our education system, as the professional naysayers would want you to believe. On the contrary, this system will reduce class sizes, it will increase the contact hours between teachers and students, as well as increase the number of holidays. Every bold new initiative that is rolled out will perforce experience hitches and challenges. However, I'm inspired by the famous Chinese adage which says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Now, the Ghana Education Service is meeting all of its regional and district directors across the country. Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools Executives and the leadership of teaching unions all over the implementation of this double-track system in senior high schools. This comes just a day ahead of the Ministry of Education's planned address to the nation on the controversial policy. Speaking to Joy News, the head of public relations at GES, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, said the dialogue will focus on how to ensure successful implementation of the new policy come September. So watching Joy News today, let's stay a bit with what the president has been saying, because he has been assuring of reviving the salt factory in Ada in fulfillment of his campaign promise on the one district, one factory.
I know we are not out of the woods yet, but I can assure you that our nation is on the right path. Mobilizing our country's resources has meant that we have begun rolling out our flagship policy initiatives like the One District, One Factory project and the program for planting for food and jobs. The implementation of the One District, One Factory policy has meant that 36 factories are at various stages of being operationalized, which will create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. The Lantiani soya milk factory, located in Asotware, Ishai Usudoku, has been inaugurated and is fully functional. I would urge the Ada East and West District Assemblies, as well as the Ada Traditional Council, to develop a strategic plan towards exploiting the vast potentials of the area to ensure residents benefit from their local resources. The Songo Lagoon, for example, about which a passionate appeal has been made to me, has the potential to produce salt in large scale and commercial quantities from its current status. Government is collaborating with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that at long last, the necessary investment is secured for its development into a modern salt industry. The successful implementation of this project will create employment for lots of people and generate the much needed revenue for development.
Now, the Brefo Youth Association in the Sola Tuna Kawa district in the northern region has appealed to the Interior Minister, Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service and the Northern Regional Security Council to, as a matter of urgency, institute an independent committee to investigate the killing of persons in the district by suspected armed robbers. The association says there is insecurity in the district as residents now fear to go about their normal duties. Joy News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
According to the Brefo Youth Association, for about 2 years, armed robbery, murder and other related violence have been on the ascendancy in the district. As a result, there's insecurity in the Solatuna Calabar district. The association says police in the district have done little to engender confidence, with some residents accusing them of being complicit in some of the cases. National President of the Brefo Youth Association, Dara Joseph T., catalogued several instances where residents were shot dead.
On the 19th March 2018, unknown assailants shot that a 45-year-old popular cattle businessman by name Kosukuma in his house in Sola Tona Kalva district capital. Kosukuma was found lying dead in his room after struggling with the assailant before being overpowered. A little girl was also killed in the deadly March 19th attack at the Jangbalayiri in Sola. Nobody has yet been arrested. Armed robbers shot and killed Anthony K. Folibar, a health information officer at Sola Polyclinic, when the minibus he was traveling with was attacked. On the 29th of January 2017 in Borju, a community near Kalwa, police in Don raided, attacked, and wounded some people seriously. Again, the police in April 2018 went to Benten under the influence of a local chief, caused the saving of the hair of a young man who was accused by the local chief of being disrespectful.
According to them, 9 persons have been shot dead in cold blood in the last 2 years. 4 of the deaths took place this year. The association claims residents of the district, especially traders and farmers, cannot go on with their activities for fear of being attacked by the robbers. The association is therefore appealing to the Interior Minister, the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, and the Northern Regional Security Council to probe the killings which have been going on in the district.
Security has totally broken down.
Now, some civil society groups working in the fishing sector are upset with government over the postponement of the ban on fishing. Prior to the announcement of the intended ban, the CSOs engaged a number of fisherfolks from the 4 coastal regions in the country to educate and sensitize them on the essence of the closed season. According to CSOs, every investment to ensure all stakeholders were on the same page to achieve the desired result have gone to waste. Programs Manager of Friends of the Nation, Che Kojoyamwa, has been speaking to Joy News.
So it doesn't portray firm governance. So that is one of the key things. And also the resources that civil society put in for this year close season, I wonder whether it will be available next year. For instance, the commission and the ministry did not have much funds to do the engagement as we did. Like today's meeting was organized for them to engage the fisher folks. And these were a lot of resources that civil society put in. So we don't know to the extent it will be available next year. And there are key things that we hope that it will be dealt with. For instance, we have issues with illegal fishing, which have been at the front burner for a long time. But actually, when the closed season discussion came, you saw that people were also asking questions. So that is the key thing. One of our disappointments is that if we do not take care, the active discussion on fisheries may fall down. Now, what happens is that if we start another engagement, most people may not take government serious. They may think that, well, you announced closed season last year, you stopped it. What shows that you will do? Also, one of the key things we need to know is that the fisheries law is being reviewed. So we must ensure that the revision is also participatory, that fisher folks play a role, and all stakeholders have a role to play to ensure that when the laws are reviewed, it puts into the law some of these key issues about closed season, about consultation, about addressing IUU, about co-management, and all those things.
Some beneficiaries of these sensitization programs are also disappointed as the latest decision by government. Here's the Central Region Coordinator of Fishermen.
It was not true that we are in crisis as Fisheries Commission, government agencies, civil society organizations, and the so-called scientists were putting across our fishermen. So if indeed we were in crisis and now you are postponing the closed season, then it means you now agree that our fisheries should collapse. If not, then it means you were deceiving the people to believe that we were in crisis when we were not in crisis. And let me add this. It is for a very long time our fishermen dispute the argument that the Scientists Fisheries Commission put across as the cause for the decline in fisheries. The fishermen are of the firm belief that it is not their activities that is causing the decline in fisheries, but we have been engaging them on this. So if the Fisheries Commission, the ministry comes out and just about 3 days to the time you postpone it, then it goes to confirm the suspicion that you people have been churning out biased information for your own interest, which we do not know. That is the case. And for government, Fisheries Commission, Ministry of Fisheries to be saying that it is postponed to next year, I do not believe it. And I want to challenge everybody that if this thing comes on next year, I will really be surprised.
Okay, so you think it will not happen?
Not within the next 3 years.
Meanwhile, at the party's Thanksgiving event in commemoration of the formation of the UGCC in the Central Region yesterday, General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, John Buedu, blamed the postponement on communication lapses among stakeholders.
For government, Thursday, started at 11, upon almost 2 a.m. 11 in the morning, close around 2 a.m. Making sure we scrutinize every detail of every memo that is presented. And it is out of the scrutiny that we realize that this noble idea that the Fisheries Ministry wanted to implement, although it is good, the communication and the buy-in of most stakeholders have not gone down well. He acceded to the wishes of the people. So Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, listening around, realized that although it's a good thing by the Fisheries Ministry, it is important that we do broader consultation in order to ensure that we will have a successful implementation of that particular project.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, residents of the Tindon-Soblego community in the Bolgatanga municipality of the Upper East region are having to depend on the rains for clean drinking water. The rocky nature of their lands has hampered government efforts to construct enough boreholes in the area. On our Joy News Agenda series this week on access to water, our Upper East Regional correspondent Albert Sori reports that residents of this community now depend on rainfalls to harvest some water. Otherwise, they try to make do with water from the spillway of a dam in the community.
This dam here is meant for dry season farming for residents of the Tindon-Soblego community here in Bolgatanga. But it has also become a source of water for domestic uses. According to residents, part of the dam dries up during the dry seasons, giving them the opportunity to create dugouts around the shore to get some water. But that usually does not last too long.
This area, we are suffering with water too much. In the dry season time, we don't always get water. If it is rain time, you can get rainwater to fetch. But if rain stops like this, we will not get water to fetch unless we go to those who are selling water. So we always go there and pay. One bucket is 50 pesos. So we always go there and fetch the water. So after that, if it is dry season, all here we will not get water for our animals to drink unless we go to different places or borehole. And the borehole too is far from this area.
When the rains delay, Some of the community members come to fetch this brownish water from the spillway of the dam for domestic uses.
Bokala king me kan wan ha bilete neta lere nye ko fi ba yo suku to hota arem geta wan yire binize eto hose.
Some people come here to defecate into the stream. One day I was fetching water down there and a young man came and started easing himself just a few meters away from me. When I asked him if he could not see that I was trying to fetch the water, he retorted that this was not the place to fetch water and that I should leave him alone.
Now, health officials in Nkonya, Wurupong and surrounding communities in the Biakoya district of the Volta region say there's been significant improvement in healthcare delivery there following consistent support from the Rotary Club for the past 10 years under the Rotary Club grant project undertaken by the Rotary Club of Accra and Ho in partnership with the Rotary Club of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, USA. Some health facilities there have been rehabilitated at the cost of $150,000. Volta regional correspondent Fred Kwame Asari reports.
The Nkonya Wurupong Health Center, which became operational in 1954, serves about 6,300 residents from 3 communities in the Biakoya district. The structure, which housed the health facility, was dilapidated and under-equipped, thereby unable to meet the health demands of residents. However, an intervention by the Rotary Club of Oak Ridge in the USA led to a complete changeover of the facility, contributing to an improvement in access to healthcare and delivery in the area. The facility has also been supplied with medical consumables and equipment worth $1.5 million over the past decade. The $150,000 rehabilitation works includes the partitioning of the ward into female and male sections, electrical rewiring, provision of potable water, among others. Over 10,000 residents in the district have also benefited from an annual free health screening and medication outreach undertaken by the Ghana Medical Mission, made up of medical specialists from the USA. Coordinator of the mission, Elaine Bunnick, shared her team's vision for the facility.
We want to be able to have a facility with trained personnel. We have brought in vocational training team from the University of Colorado to do the training. We feel the staff here has been upgraded to what we would consider a licensed practical nurse status and early physician assistant status here in Rupon. So we have made such a tremendous difference from the 3-person midwife maternity team that we started with to a 20-person team with a physician assistant.
So watching Joy News today, I am Daniel Dazi. Odilia Ntiamwa is next with business.